Have you ever been insulted by something someone said to you? And I'm not talking about a friend insulting you, like how they can make fun of your gambling addiction or your credit card debt. No, I'm talking about someone saying something that hurts you on a personal level. Because that happened to me when I was in the 5th grade, by a teacher of all people. Normally, I really don't get upset by something like this, but for some reason, what they accused me of always stuck with me. So sit back and relax as I tell you the story of the inappropriate drawing. Like I said, I was just a 5th grader. It happened during my art/music class, and I really don't remember what we were doing, but it was probably learning how to play the recorder or about the color red. Either way, I'm in the middle of us learning how to play the worst sounding musical instrument of all time when my homeroom teacher called for me. So I walked with her to class, and that's when my math teacher was waiting for us. I don't know about you guys, but for my elementary school, 5th graders started to switch classes to prepare us for middle school and high school. So we would switch classes every hour or so. Both teachers looked at me as the math teacher showed me a piece of paper. And it was a drawing of a house, cloudy sky, sun, even a stick person. Really innocent, cute elementary school stuff, right? Wrong. Except they had butts on them. Literally everywhere, on the house, the sun, the clouds, even the guy was mooning us. It was disgusting. So I asked, why are you showing me this? I can have the cops take you away for showing me obscene photos like this. That is when my homeroom teacher, who we'll call Miss History for time's sake, and we'll call the other teacher Miss Math because that's what they both taught. Miss History said, you drew this picture. To clarify, she didn't say, did you draw this picture, or do you know who drew this picture? She said, you drew this picture. Now at the time, I won't say my art is on par with what I draw today, but think of a 10-year-old's art, but he's really good. Not amazing, but artwork that's good for a 10-year-old, that was basically my art. So the fact that they were outright accusing me of drawing stick figure art was completely insulting. I knew how to use shading techniques. So I told Miss History that it was not my drawing because I do not draw like that, but she didn't believe me because, well, you won't believe this, but she used a special technique to figure out who drew the picture. So the reason why they're accusing me was because it was the end of the day where we only had one period left. When the drawing was found, so the teacher used the seating chart to figure out who sits there. She asked the kid who sat there previously if he did it, and he said no. Then she asked the next kid if they did it, and they also said no. So if these two kids didn't do it, then it was me. Yeah, if they would have used this logic to find the Zodiac killer, he would have been caught a long time ago. Yet this grown woman using CIA level deduction skills to find out who drew this picture, not even concerning the fact that the two kids may have lied about it. I mean, the first kid she asked would literally graffiti on the bathroom stalls and lie about it, and sometimes would write his name, or literally get caught in the act of doing it. And the second kid would bring shards of glass to school and constantly threaten to stab other kids. But the most damning evidence of all was the fact that the drawing was still fresh. What I mean by that is that the drawing was in Sharpie. The pictures still had a shine that most Sharpies have when they're drawn on something, and the smell was still strong, where it was clearly just drawn on. Plus, I don't own a Sharpie. I explained this to the teacher, but not only that, I showed her my other artworks and gave her all the evidence on why it wasn't me. But they didn't care, and gave me a stern talking to on why it was bad to draw these things, and eventually sent me to the principal's office where they called my mom. Funny enough, when my mom got there, they explained the situation to her and even showed her the drawings, but my mom immediately knew it wasn't me, even saying, my son doesn't draw like that. They were insistent the drawing was mine, but my mom didn't believe them. Eventually, the principal got involved, and you would think that he would automatically take the teacher's side and suspend me or something. But he asked me how did they know I drew this picture when they explained to him how they suspected it was me, and in that moment they kind of realized that the way they did it wasn't the best way to find out if someone actually did a crime. So they let me go, but there was still like 30 minutes of school left, so I got to leave early, and my mom even got me McDonald's for all the pain I went through. And you would think the story would end there, right? Wrong. Because the drawing story eventually got out and everyone knew about it, so all the people started asking me if I drew the picture, and of course I would say no. Look at my drawings, you idiots. There's no stick figure or cruelly drawn suns. I had a vague understanding of color theory. That's a lie, no one does. But the problem started when they asked Miss History and Miss Math about it because they would lie and say I did it, but I wouldn't own up to it. This unfortunately led to most kids thinking I was some sort of pervert who abused my art talents. I would be standing in the lunch line when kids would turn and face the opposite direction of the way the line was going. You stay away from me. I'm not letting you get a reference ID on my butt. You got the other teachers that would constantly look over my shoulder making sure I'm not drawing anything weird. butt. He's drawing a butt again. It's a B, Miss Science. You have to write the 2 curves in order to write a B. God, no wonder why your husband left you. So after a week of everyone thinking I'm some sort of sex criminal, Miss History catches the kid who drew the artwork, and turns out it was literally the kid who drew on the bathroom stalls. What a surprise. He even used the same Sharpie as last time. Now you would think that he would have gotten some sort of punishment, but from the most I can remember, he just got a slap on the wrist and was still allowed to come to school. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it was the end of the year and they just decided to let him go to middle school so he can be their problem now. Alright Billy, what you did was wrong, and oh, who am I kidding? You're just gonna do it again, aren't you? Well here, use this Expo marker because they're easier to clean off the bathroom stalls, and don't leave drawings like that in your desk. Just take them home and burn them. So I guess the moral of the story is that sometimes in life it's better to be born a man, but the exception is if you're a little boy in elementary school and not a smart kid, because then the teacher will just hate you.